LeBron has signed with the Philadelphia 76ers, and this kind of came out of left field for me because I thought he was going to stay out west. I thought it was pretty much a done deal that he was going to go to Minnesota because, I mean, it would have been a match made in heaven. All right, you got Anthony Edwards, who's one of the best scorers, who needs more playmaking around him, and he's already got LaMelo Ball, who's one of the best playmakers in the league, and you have Rudy, who you can use more as a lob threat, especially with a guy like LeBron, who can find players on cuts and who can throw good lobs and who can make the centers that are playing next to him better. Like, you have a guy like that with LaMelo Ball, who's already one of the most elite playmakers in the league. Like, to me, that would have been a match made in heaven, and LeBron could essentially be like a supercharged version of like what Rui Hachimura was for the Lakers or what Blake Griffin was for the Detroit Pistons. Like, he could have been that playmaking power forward next to an elite playmaking point guard who also is playing with an elite scorer surrounded with a bunch of elite defensive players. Like, that to me sounded like the perfect match, but instead LeBron decided to sign with the 76ers, which isn't a horrible choice. Like, I think his fit with the 76ers is still good. Obviously, it's not as good as I envisioned with Minnesota, but at the end of the day, I mean, you're still surrounded with elite scoring, elite passing. You got Joel Embiid, who still is, you know, an all-star level player, still one of the best centers in the league. He's not what he used to be, obviously, averaging like 30 a game and dropping 70 points on Victor Wembanyama and stuff like that. Like, he's obviously not at that level anymore, but he's still good enough to where he can give you 20 and 10 every now and then, and he can still play good defense and be a reliable scorer for you. You got Tyrese Maxey, who's pretty much, I don't know if I want to say the best player on this team now because Jaylen Brown is here, but, you know, Tyrese Maxey is that engine guy that you need, right? He's the guy that you can go to in the clutch and say, go get a bucket for me. He's the guy that will drop 40 in an important playoff game to keep your season alive. That's the type of guy that Maxey is, alongside him being very fast, very shifty, a really good finisher for his size, and a good passer. And then you still got Edgecombe, who is going into his second year, had a really good start to his rookie year where in his first game he had like 38 points and he was just straight hooping. I mean, him and Maxey in that backcourt as these two very athletic, fast, very active defenders too, like, that is the ultimate backcourt that you would want if you're a team that loves to get in the fast break, you love to play passing lanes and things like that. Obviously, you know, it's not a guarantee that Edgecombe is going to start this year because you still have Dean Wade, who they signed to like a 4-year $39 million deal, something like that, and he's going to be just like the 3-and-D forward who can provide size and who can play good defense on the perimeter and who can be a sniper that you can kick it out to. And then you have Jaylen Brown, who you just traded for really for pennies on the dollar. I mean, they could have gotten a lot more for this, but the fact that they just gave up Paul George and 2 first-round picks is ludicrous. And the fact that the Celtics did that still to this day, arguably the worst trade of this whole offseason, but I digress. Obviously, I don't think Jaylen Brown is going to average close to 30 points per game this year because he has so many other offensive weapons on his team, but I do think that Jaylen Brown will ultimately play better basketball in Philadelphia because he's surrounded with good playmakers now. You know, in Boston, he wasn't really surrounded with an elite playmaker besides for the championship years, and they weren't really running that many off-ball sets for him. He would find himself open a lot because teams would either decide to sack off of him or because teams would just double team JT, or teams just felt weirdly confident with him shooting the ball, which never really made sense to me because Jaylen Brown has always just been seen and looked at as a reliable 3-point shooter, right? Obviously, he's not like the best 3-point shooter on his team. I don't think he's ever been that, but he's been good enough to where you would want to put a hand up. And now that he's in Philly, where there's going to be way more players commanding attention offensively, Jaylen Brown is going to have to be more consistent from the 3-point line, right? I'm not saying he has to be Klay Thompson, Steph Curry level, obviously, but he needs to be reliable enough to where if they kick it out to him and he's open, he needs to knock it down. Also, there's going to be a lot less ISO ball. I know Jaylen Brown loves to handle the ball and ISO and things like that, but I'm more interested in seeing him, you know, cut back door or seeing him come off a screen or two. Just have him be a part of a more creative offense, because that's been one thing that the Sixers have lacked, is that the creativity with their offense is kind of out of whack. A lot of it is just give Joel Embiid the ball in the post and get out the way, or just 5 out, pick and roll, kick out, like stuff like that, which is very, very easy to defend in nowadays NBA. But If you're a team that's able to mix it up offensively, then I think that sets you apart from a lot of teams, because, you know, the Sixers are a very talented team on paper. And now they have LeBron James, who's, in my opinion, the best perfect fit that they could have had with players like these. Like, just imagine the LeBron Embiid pick and roll, or even a inverted pick and roll with, you know, Maxey setting the screen and LeBron handling the ball, and Maxey can pop out and he might be open for three. Or Maxey handling the ball, LeBron setting a pick, and him either rolling and finding an extra man who's open that he can kick it out to, or finding Embiid under the basket, or finding Jaylen Brown under the basket. And the thing that I noticed from not just last year's playoffs, but the 2025 playoffs as well, is that LeBron, when he wants to, he can tap into that point guard mode of his, right? Where he's dominating the offense, he's dictating the offense, he's handling the ball at the top of the key, and he's controlling traffic. He did that a lot because Luka and Reeves were out in this year's playoffs. He did that a lot and made guys like Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard, and even DeAndre Ayton at times look better than what they were. Like, Luke Kennard had back-to-back 20-plus point games in that Rockets series. And a lot of that was because of LeBron's great court awareness and being able to set him up for good shot opportunities, and also being able to find guys like Marcus Smart under the basket, or, you know, being able to create a competent shot opportunity for DeAndre Ayton where he's not just in the post not knowing what he's doing and just throwing some bullshit up. So it's not like we're going to be seeing a 42-year-old LeBron carry so much offensive responsibility and be forced to essentially be 2018 LeBron again. We're not going to see that. What we're going to see is a LeBron that is playing his role, mostly playing off the ball as well, getting more shots at the three-point line, getting more open opportunities, being able to cut and get more opportunities at the basket just off of like backdoor cuts and even lob. We're going to see that version of LeBron again, and I think it's going to be even better than what we saw when he was playing with Luka, because the problem with him and Luka was so ball dominant, and there would be times where teams somewhat felt comfortable not guarding LeBron, right? Like, obviously it's LeBron, you got to keep an eye on him, you got to keep a man on him, but obviously, like, if Luka is getting double teamed and LeBron is already bricking a bunch of shots, right? He bricked like 2 threes in a row. There will be times where teams will be comfortable with him taking a three. And then you compare the talent that is surrounding LeBron and Luka to the talent that's surrounding LeBron and Philly. You got Maxey, Edgecombe, JB, Joel Embiid. Like, it's a night and day difference. And to end off this video, let me just theorize real quick, right? Let's say LeBron does win his 5th ring. Obviously, a 5th ring in year, 23 or 24, it's not going to hold a candle to all of his other rings for obvious reasons. I don't think if LeBron won a ring, he would be the finals MVP unless he plays out of his mind and just turns back the clock and brings 2018 LeBron back. Obviously, I don't think that is going to happen, but like, it would be pretty damn hard for any Jordan lover to deny LeBron being the GOAT in 2027 if he wins 5 rings, because even if he's the 3rd or even the 4th best player on that team, he still contributed. The only real argument that you can make is that LeBron was a role player or won a ring as a role player, so it doesn't hold as much weight as his other rings, which is true. But at the same time, there are other greats that we consider that are top 3 or top 5 that have won rings as glorified role players. A great example, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is widely considered a top 5 player in the NBA history. Some people even consider him top 3, and he won a ring in 1988, averaging like 13 points per game. If LeBron can even average roughly 18 points per game, maybe 5 rebounds and 6 assists or something like that for a whole season, and in the finals he averages 15, 8, and 8 on good shooting splits, doesn't even have to win finals MVP, but just be a contributor, to me that's enough. If Kareem can win a championship as a glorified role player in 1988 or 87, where he's surrounded with good players like Michael Cooper, James Worthy, Byron Scott, and obviously Magic Johnson, then it's perfectly valid for LeBron to do so, and it doesn't hurt his GOAT case at all. And the other point, he's 42 years old. What do you want from him? Michael Jordan was on the Washington Wizards at age 40, and while yes, he was putting up 50 pieces and whatnot, those teams went nowhere because, number one, Michael Jordan was the GM and he was running those organizations to the ground, but also, number 2, they're being led by an old-ass Michael Jordan. LeBron in this situation in Philly is playing with 2 All-Stars in Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey, who you could even argue are All-NBA level talent, a former MVP of the league, and a consensus top 5 player at his peak, one of the best young players in the NBA right now and was on pace to win Rookie of the Year last year with some good depth around him. If that doesn't scream championship bound to you, I don't know what will. But that'll be the end of this video. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button down below. Subscribe for more videos. We are on the way to 1,000. A subscription would be really appreciated. And I'm out. Peace.